All eyes on Doge. Big run up to the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big run up to the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Up. Movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Up. Movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.60. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin.
Hey everybody, Kriss here. Welcome on a Wednesday. This is the Wednesday KrissPax live stream. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and Dogecoin, mostly Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the one that's moving the market and Dogecoin is just kind of following along right now because there's no big news for Doge going on right now. So, but I've got a couple charts on Doge, but a lot of this is going to be about Bitcoin, the overall crypto market, and kind of the sentiment that we are looking at. So I don't want to do a bear market intro. I want to keep things positive and fun, even though we know we're in a bear market. Are there still people believe that we're still in a bull market or even a crab market? It's a bear market, as I've been talking about for months. Are you all on board now? It's a bear market. And that's why sentiment is down, viewership is down, subscriber count is down again. It's just that way. So let's get into it, and I'll get to the Q&A in just a minute. Let me get through my charts here. First, Dogecoin doesn't stand a chance price-wise when Bitcoin keeps capitulating. That is my latest post on X. Dogecoin doesn't stand a chance price-wise when Bitcoin keeps capitulating, which we'll talk about. Also, this one, despite all the FUD against Dogecoin, unlimited supply, no use case. Doge is still in the top 10 of all cryptocurrencies by market cap. There it is, number 9, right there. Still there. It's not going away. So we got a lot of other tokens that are dropping a lot harder, but Dogecoin still maintains its top 10 standing by market cap of all cryptocurrencies. So those of you that say things like, oh, Doge is dead, well, nothing, not you guys, right? No, not you guys. Some of the commenters on my videos and some other people on X who reply and just say Doge is dead. And I'm like, have you seen the top 10? You see what's still there? Despite all the FUD that's going on, Dogecoin is actually holding up fairly well. So I know it doesn't look good in your portfolio, but if you held other tokens that have dropped harder, your portfolio would be more red than it already is. Welcome to 2026 bear market. It's just the way it is. So what's going on? Well, crypto fear and greed index is at 9. This is the lowest that it's been probably since 2022. I mean, the crypto or coin market cap fear and greed index chart, when it goes back in history, only goes back to 2023. That's the one I'm looking at right here now, because I was on coin market cap earlier, showing that Dogecoin was still in the top 10. But 9, that's bad. I mean, even the whole tariff thing, when, in 2025, April 2025, we only got down to, what was that? We got down to about 19, maybe 18, well, 15 at the lowest. 15 at the lowest. And now we're at 9. So that's not good. 9. So what is this about? Well, Crypto Rover says, look, if you're still here, you're doing better than most. The biggest gains are made during bear markets. Again, the biggest gains are made during the bear markets. Do you know how I made so much money last cycle? I bought in the bear and I sold in the bull. I didn't quite catch the top of the bull as we lived through it. into 2024, into 2025, at least for Doge and most alts. But I did okay. Buy low, sell high. Don't buy in the big green candles when FOMO strikes and prices are going up. I mean, you can catch it and you can do okay, but the big money is made if you buy in the bear. And you know my thesis that I've been saying, I am waiting until the summer. I think we will have lower prices. That's not financial advice. That is not an absolute 100% certainty. I can only tell you what I'm doing. And I did okay last time. So that's what I'm doing this time. That's what I'm doing this time. Now, if I buy in the summer, am I going to catch the absolute bottom? Maybe, maybe not. Many who follow 4-year cycles think that Bitcoin's bottom should be in October based on the number of days from the all-time high, like all of that stuff. But I'm thinking end of summer, early August, early September, that time frame, because that's what we've seen in summers past. And I just go by that. So we'll be watching that. So what's going on? Well, Santiment says, look, when in doubt, remember to zoom out. Comments related to being bearish or selling off have still dominated the normally bullish or buying the dip narratives. So right now it's bearish and sell off. With a volatile and unpredictable geopolitical landscape, social media is mostly revealing that they do not trust the Bitcoin bounce that has mildly brought prices back up from its drop to 60K last week. When FUD is the dominant path that traders are leaning toward, prices have a much higher probability of continuing to rise, only if we begin to see FOMO again, which typically won't happen unless there's a further major bounce. In other words, retail crowd remains in sell mode. FUD is not going away. Sell. And that is what is dominating here, is sell, sell, sell. So we're bearish. Also, Bitcoin new investor flow. There's no new investors. The new investor flow is below zero, meaning there's no new money coming in. This is for Bitcoin. There's no new money coming in. And the last time we saw red, 2022. Imagine that. And before that, 2018, with one little dip in early 2020, and that was the COVID dip. So another indicator that the 4-year cycles still reign and we are in a bear market. I know you don't want to hear that. You want price to go up. But now we have also the net realized profit loss. Net realized loss is in the red. Bitcoin realized losses are getting close to the worst part of the 2022 bear market. Don't let the data fool you. True bottoms take time to form. Stay patient. Again, 2022 net realized loss. We got a lot of Bitcoin holders that are in the red and they are at a loss. And I know there's a lot of Dogecoin holders as well that are in a loss. Some of us are still in the green overall on our Dogecoin portfolios because we were buying back here in 2022 and 2023 for Dogecoin when the price was 5, 6, 7 cents. Now, until the Dogecoin price goes back down below 7 cents, then I'll start to see my portfolio turn red again. Is that going to happen? We don't know. But right now, Dogecoin is showing weakness, just like Bitcoin. When Trump was elected, and this is CoinDesk, okay, this is CoinDesk printing this. When Trump was elected, Bitcoin ramped from 70K to 90K in 10 days. That was November 2024. Now, that's the same time when Doge went all the way from about 12 cents to 40 cents. And that was all Elon and the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, like all of that stuff. It had the Elon hype. So Doge, of course, jumped up about 250%. The drop to 60K wasn't panic selling, though. The drop we just had to 60K was not panic selling. Well, what was it? So why is Bitcoin dropping? And then why is Dogecoin dropping? You hear those pings? You hear the pinger going off? Are you guys tired of me talking about leverage liquidations? You know, I've been talking about it since October. That October 10th flash crash was real. And that was all options, futures getting wiped out. Many blame Binance and Wintermute. Maybe. I still believe it. But no, he goes on to say, no, it wasn't. It wasn't panic selling. It was market makers selling futures into a liquidity trap. Again, the market makers. Wintermute is a market maker. They work for Binance. This is what drives the markets. This is what drives the markets. Just in from the Whale Insider, 126,000 crypto traders have been liquidated in the past 24 hours. And we go to our liquidation chart and we say, well, it's now up to 131,000 traders who are liquidated. 131,000 traders for a total of $432 million. They're at it again. All right, Charlotte, we'll catch you on Friday. Good night. So again, it's the liquidations, the market makers, leverage drives the markets. I agree. Yes, Eric. That's what it's about. Until there are specific catalysts, specific news, and retail starts buying or selling based on that news, the exchanges and the market makers are still in control. So that's what's going on. There's liquidity on both sides. We are here with Bitcoin. There's liquidity below. There's liquidity above. I believe we will see Bitcoin come up to 68,000, and it will take out some of this. But then it'll drop back down to 65, 64,000, and it'll take out all of this. That's how the market moves. And we're going to see that happen. They'll come down a little more maybe and pick up these easy leverages, and then they'll come up and they'll pick up those and come back down and pick up those. And then new ones will come in and it'll continue. A lot of degens are going 50x or 100x long short, and they will be taken out, Mr. Ted Pillow says. I think a revisit of 65K and a pump to 68K will both happen soon. Again, the degens, what have I been calling them? I've been calling them the degen leverage traders. So, yeah, that whole Xcoin thing, Nick, is really a scam. Yes. Yeah, and just by typing it in, Xcoin token, then you know it's a scam if it's called Xcoin token, right? Ash Crypto says, look, this makes more sense now. This is what the Bitcoin chart looks like. Who's not working? Who needs a job? Who needs a job? There's always somebody hiring. There's always somebody hiring. The Nigerian prince. There you go, Nick. Mr. Crypto says, look, not to put any more bad news, but Thursdays, which is tomorrow, Thursdays are usually the worst day of the week for Bitcoin. It's down 2% on average for the last 3 months. So why Thursdays? Why Thursdays? Friday is in the green, average on the last 3 months, but Thursdays. And tomorrow's Thursday, guys. That's not good. Well, it looks like we may have it again too tomorrow, our Thursday. Thank you, Mr. Crypto, for pointing that out. Thursdays. Accumulation. We should just buy on the dips on Thursdays, right? So what does that mean for Dogecoin? Well, our friend John Carter says, look, you can't hold for the initial 75% decline in Dogecoin's price evaluation since Donald Trump took office in January 2025, only to sell in the last 25. In other words, if you're selling Dogecoin now, you must need whatever remaining money you have locked up in Doge. You must need that money really bad, because now, based on history, is not the time to be selling your Dogecoin. People are buying at these prices, not selling. Will it go lower? Maybe. I think it will drift a little lower, but we don't know that for sure. We don't know. And then those who risk the most also inadvertently stand to gain the most. When you understand that holding Doge, even down to, I mean, John says 0.0, but let's just call it a penny or whatever it is. It's still, Doge is still more valuable than selling it and converting it into US dollars, which are only backed by perpetual negative value in the tens of trillions with absolutely zero positive value. In other words, the national debt keeps going up, inflation keeps going up. And even if inflation is steady, it's still a positive number, not a negative number. Whether it's 3% or 2%, or as Trueflation says, under 1%, it's still a positive number. Prices still go up, which means the dollar gets weaker. Every day, the dollar gets weaker. So why would you sell Dogecoin now for the dollar, and the dollar just continues to get weaker? That's what John's saying. And that is true. So we've already gone down 75% since Trump took office. Why are you selling now? Doge will go on runs. It continues. And in fact, Trader Allen says, look, we have this long-standing historical bottom channel on the logarithmic chart for Dogecoin that goes all the way back to 2015 when we first entered this channel. 2015, 2022, and then, oh, this was 2019 into 2020, sorry, logarithmic. And now where we are again in this channel. So what does this mean? Well, Trader Allen has this, giant big candles up coming like this year. What I did the other day when I did my 4-year, the 4-year cycle analysis, because Bitcoin Census had the same thing. This big yellow thing was right here. And I said, I think we should just move it out. And by moving it out, that creates a gap. And that's the gap where we're going to accumulate before the next big run. Now, will that run go up to $2 or $3? We don't know. I'm guessing not that high. I don't think we're going to get a 3,000% gain in Doge anytime soon. We may be lucky to get to $1. But $1 from 10 cents, that's a 10x. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'm just saying, be patient, buy on the dips, accumulate, because Doge has gone on these big runs, and another one Could be coming. You got to be ready for it. Could be coming. We don't know when, but that's how Dogecoin trades. That's how it's already traded. Now, in cycle 3, this was the end of the bull market for Doge, December 2024, when Dogecoin hit 48 cents. That was the high for cycle 3. I know a lot of people don't want to believe it and they want to complain about it and all that, but that's what happened. That was the high for cycle 3, 48 cents in December 2024. And we are down over 75% since then. I think it's like 80 something percent since then. So that means bear market for Dogecoin. The bear market for Bitcoin didn't start until October 2025, and Bitcoin's down over 50%. Bitcoin's down over 50% since early October. And of course, October 10th was the day everything turned around. Because if you remember on the Dogecoin chart, we were actually moving up. This was my green support line here. We were moving up from the low of the middle of summer, June, where Dogecoin dipped down to like 13 cents, following the big tariff drop down to 13 cents. And from there, we were moving up into October. We had higher highs, we had higher lows. Everything was looking great for Dogecoin to recover and move higher until October 10th, which is that big wick down to the orange circle. That was when everything changed, and then Dogecoin has dropped since then. So that's where we are right now. I still think Dogecoin is going to go on a run a little bit, at least up to 13 cents again, and then will fall back down into the summer. So that is what I am predicting. I'm not always right. And I admit when I'm wrong. October didn't happen thanks to the October 10th flash crash. So October totally turned around. I thought we might settle in Moonvember, but we actually went down lower. And then we went lower even in December at the end of the year. But again, that was still around 12 cents. And now we're at 9. So that is definitely bear market stuff. So that's what we got. Let's do some Q&A. Let's do some Q&A. I do have this downward sloping resistance line here, this orange line, since the V-shape recovery that we had back on February 5th, where Dogecoin did come down to 8 cents. That's right, it hit 8 cents right there on February 5th. And here we are, just about a week later. Tomorrow's the 12th. That was the Thursday. It was the Bitcoin chart, and there was the Thursday. Bitcoin dropped down to 60K. Tomorrow is a Thursday, a week later. What are we going to get? Now, Bitcoin also has a downward sloping orange line here, which is the downward resistance line as well that I'm tracking. It's just locally, short term, just tracking the price. That's what I use those for. But it kind of works. Kind of works. What do you got to say, Twinsy? Stop dreaming. Crypto's not backed by physical gold or worth zero. It's 2026. Only the gold cryptos have intrinsic value today. Forget Bitcoin. It's old, done, and over. Wow. All right. Good luck with all your gold stuff. I think that's going to work short term, but on the long term, I think Bitcoin and crypto will again outperform gold. So I think, Twinsy, you're correct right now in a short term, but in the long term, we're going to have Doge, Bitcoin completely outperform those gold cryptos. Although I do like the PAX G because it's my name. I should own the PAX G. I should own it. Danny, I'll be accumulating summer of chop, transfer to cold wallet, sell at the end of 2028 elections. Not a bad strategy, I believe, Danny. Not a bad strategy. RR also, summer seems like a good time to accumulate, should have extra cash on hand. Yes. Nick, of course, says Doge under 10 cents is always a good buy. I'll take that. I'll take that. Wei Zhu thinks the bull market isn't over. It's too soon. God bless BTC, all of that. Wei, the charts say something different. The sentiment says something different. I mean, we're going down. Market makers are selling. Liquidity traps around. More Bitcoin in net realized loss than gain. True sign of a bear market. This is not bull market stuff here, Wei. Bitcoin new investor flow is in the red. Last time it was down here in the red again was 2022, bear market. So I don't know. All the indicators are pointing to bear market, Wei. That's just what it is. The bull market starts tomorrow. Okay, Danny. I don't see anything happening right now that's going to cause that to happen. Now, I mean, if Elon comes out with X money tomorrow, I think we get a pump up to 14, 15 cents, but not 75. But that would be cool. KrissPax for president. Yeah. I would never run for political office. Ever, ever, ever. No, thank you. I do not want it. I do not want it. I'm good. I'm good here, just hanging out, doing my thing. What's up, Mamba? We're doing okay. It's a bear market. Sentiment is down. Viewership is down. But I said I would still be here. People were asking me like a year ago, are you going to still be streaming and making videos during bear market? And I said, yep, I'll probably slow down the number, which I'm doing now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then throw in an extra one every once in a while, like I did with the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl halftime little live stream we did, that was fun. I'll continue to do stuff like that, special events. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm invested in this totally. So yeah, I'm doing okay, Lucas. Hanging out. Nice to see you here. Nice to see you. Z-Man, thought early September we're going to run. That's why held my bag. Figured fall would be huge until October 10th. Shaking my head. Yeah. Yep. And the chart showed it. We were going up from July. Higher highs, higher lows, right up until August or October 10th. Maramello, I'll buy more Doge in July, August. I think Kriss is right. That's what I'm looking at as well. Maybe August, September. We'll see how things look. Some think we might get an April bump. If we do, I might de-risk. And I'm predicting that as well. I'm predicting a bump. March, April bump. 30%. Let's see what my chart says. Doge. From here. Yeah. It's like 35% RR right there. That's what I got. That gets us up to like 13 cents. And you might, the 13 cents, that doesn't sound great. Well, it is what it is. That's a 30% pump from here. That's a 30% pump. We do have some shorts getting taken out right now because we got some green candles going on. We'll see if we test the downward sloping resistance line again. Bitcoin is back up over 68K and it's going towards its downward sloping resistance line. So we are getting some shorts. That's what the pinger is. It's all these red numbers, which are the shorts getting taken out. That's what's going on right now. Taking out the shorts. Melvin says, I buy a lot of Doge under 10 cents. It's cheap. Eric, a bunch of us are starting to buy in with a 2 to 3 year time frame. Yeah, 2028. Into 2028, into 2029, we'll see what's happening. If you vote for me, I'll promise free hot dogs and tailwinds on bike paths for everyone. Yeah. A Danish comedian got elected to parliament after making promises like that. I think the market is better, but it's too early to call it a bear market. All right, Mamba. If everyone has a tailwind, nobody has a tailwind. Right. What? That would be weird. I agree. CDC lowering his average cost, now down to 18 cents. Patience. If we get a bump, I might de-risk by selling some of my Doge and then rebuy back in the summer. Well, that would play out then. Yep, that could play out. The market makers are coming. 7-cent Doge. Rock Angel, yeah. To those that are the big gold fans, go try and buy something with gold. Exactly. Go try to buy something with gold. That's pretty tough to do. Jackson, how are you? Your live streams help retain my sanity. That's why I'm here. That's why I show up. I keep it real. I'm not promising $1, $2, $5 Doge like Trader Allen and those guys. This is not happening. Hang in there, Jackson. Yep. It's been years of bear. The bull bear market is based on Bitcoin. Bitcoin hit an all-time high in October 2025. And that was the end of the bull market. And then we went right into bear. So it's been years of bear. Not really. I mean, Dogecoin again hit an all-time high of 48 cents in December 2024. And again, yes, I know it wasn't 73 cents like May of 2021, but I've talked about that many times of the overhyped crazy FOMO that was going on based on Elon Musk. So, yeah. All right, RR, good night. Good night. What's first? Do we get a bump to 13 cents or we just go down to 6.7? And I know company, yeah, 6.7. That remains to be seen, but that is a good question there. Do we get this bump up to 13 cents and then go lower to 6.7, or do we just go to 6.7? Does that happen? That's a great question. A great question. I'm sticking with the we get a bump and then a pullback lower, because we've seen that in other cycles. If this just keeps going down, if this keeps going down below 7 cents without a little relief rally, that will be very depressing. I admit that. That'll be very, very depressing. One lantern, the market makers are coming. Two lanterns, the market makers are coming. They're just coming. It doesn't matter. 50 cents or a 0.5. I was so sure Doge was going to hit 50 cents at the end of 2024 that I didn't take another slice of profits. I was thinking 50 cents, half a dollar, and it didn't make it. So I lost a little bit of opportunity on that. How long do bear markets usually last? About 9 months. So like 9 months. And we get a little bit of a reset then. That's typically what happens. Bitcoin last cycle actually was 12 months, November 2021 to November 2022, because that was the FTX bankruptcy crash, was November 2022. So it was 12 months for Bitcoin last cycle. So it can go lower based on news and events. That can happen. It is what it is. Hey, Gurinder, how are you? Doge to the moon, Matthias? Yes. Clippy still hanging in there. Love it. Will it drop below 7.96? I believe so. And the bottom of the bear market, I believe so. That's what my fib lines are telling me as I did fib lines. Oh, but Kriss, you don't believe in fib lines. I know, but you got to use something, right? Sam Bank fraud. I can't believe that he actually is trying to get a retrial on his fraud case. I mean, why? I'm sure he's got tons of crypto stacked away in wallets, and it doesn't matter to him if he wastes a bunch of money on attorneys to try and get a retrial. But dude, why didn't you ask for that a year ago when you went to jail? Why did you wait so long? And then he's trying to like rewrite history by, well, I never signed a document that said FTX was bankrupt. Well, actually, you did. You did actually sign, because back in 2022, you said the lawyers made you sign it. So you signed it. You signed it. So he's in bed with the Dems. Yeah. If Musk ecosystem is worth $3 trillion right now and flips to Dogecoin payments, how do we value the Dogecoin market cap? Ooh, Sean, that's a great question, but I don't think Elon's ever going to go full Doge. I don't think he's ever going to do that. I know he supports Doge and all that, but I don't see that. You haven't lost anything if you haven't sold. That's true. They're all paper losses or unrealized losses, but it's not a loss until you actually sell. You can continue to lower your average. If you have a high average, you continue to lower it. If you still believe in Dogecoin in the future. But if you're going to be a perma bear and you think Doge is dead, then why are you here? We're talking about a bear market right now, an eventual bull, and things will turn around, as we've seen cycle after cycle after cycle. But if you're like totally anti-crypto and you think it's all going to zero, well, good luck with you, man. Good luck. Enjoy your 5 to 8% gains yearly. Except for, yeah, this year gold is better than that. I get it. But it hasn't happened in decades when gold has gone on a run like it has now. If you're buying gold now over 5,000 and you're FOMO chasing, you're not going to get 30, 40% gains in a year on gold. Not now. DB, I'm just going to keep following Doge down. Drop my average another penny. There you go. Hey, Yeely, the bear market lasts about 9 months. So when did the bear market start that you call the bear market? October 10th, 2025. So Go 9 months from there and you're August. Yeah, 9, 10 months. July, August. Right in there. I think it's hard to call it a bear market when Doge seemed dead for quite some time. Did Doge seem dead? Did it? It's gone on numerous runs. October 2022 went on a run. Steady gains in the fall of 2023. Early 2024 went on a run. And then late 2024, it went from 11 cents to 48 cents. That doesn't seem dead to me. Surrender still waiting for a further drop. But you're still sitting 80 to 20 cash and investments. I will have cash on the side as soon as I pay my 2025 taxes. Robinhood gave me a check for blocking my GME trade. 65 cents. Woo, Eric! 65 cents. That's awesome. Too bad it wasn't 67. 65 cents. 5 years later. 5 years later, you get a 65-cent check. Oh my God. Wow. That is, well, I mean, Robinhood paid, I guess. They've got so much money, it doesn't matter. I think Doge will go up in the fall, Joseph. I don't know, July, August. Generally, that seems to be very weak end of summer, and we usually don't see it till late September into October. Of course, you know, some big thing like Elon or X money or something that could drop at any time, and then we'll get a pump on Doge when that happens. We just don't know when that's going to happen. But overall, I would guess after like mid-September, we would start to see Doge recover. That's how I sort of see that playing out. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it. I still own 5 Dogecoins. For the one day it'll go to $1. Hey, every Doge counts, right? Every Doge counts. Yep. Exactly, Drip. That's what I believe. October was the start because the bear market is really based on Bitcoin, not Doge. Bitcoin still has almost 60% of the entire cryptocurrency market. So the market generally follows Bitcoin. The lower average puts you in profit sooner. Who doesn't want that? Javier, hello, hello. You're welcome, Yili. That's just how I see it. Javier thinks we've been in a bear market for over a year. See, I just look at early October when Bitcoin hit 126,000, new all-time high. So Bitcoin was not in a bear market for over a year. Doge and alts were, because they front-run Bitcoin, as I've shown on the 4-year charts. Dogecoin and alts front-run Bitcoin in terms of hitting cycle highs. To find out why Doge is dropping, you got to go back and look at the first 15, 20 minutes of this live stream. I went through it all, Ramses. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat it all, but you have the ability to just scroll back and watch from the beginning. And I went through my analysis. Okay. Eric, you get paid in Doge doing online surveys. Awesome. Around town, welcome. You know, that when you buy gelato in Italy, it just tastes so much better than any gelato you get anywhere else. There's something about it. The gelato is really good. Really good. Yeah, DB, same thing, I believe. But he's just thinking in terms of like Doge or alts, which is true. Dogecoin and alts front run Bitcoin in the 4-year cycles. At least it has for the last 2 cycles. In 2021, Dogecoin hit its cycle high in May, and Bitcoin didn't hit its cycle high till November. And then in this most recent cycle, Dogecoin hit its high in December 2024, while Bitcoin waited until October 2025. So Dogecoin and alts front run Bitcoin in hitting their cycle highs. We're only 4 months in, but it feels like an eternity. Isn't that crazy? That's how bear markets just suck the life out of you. And it just, man. And I mean, I see it here on YouTube, right? My viewers went away. I mean, you guys are great. Thanks for sticking in. The ones that went away, they'll come back when Doge is already pumping. And as Crypto Rover says, if you're still here, you're doing better than most. The biggest gains are made during bear markets. Again, the biggest gains are made during bear markets. When you're scooping up crypto at the bottom of the cycle, the bottom of the bear market, statistically, you do much better. You do much better. So, and the charts prove it. When Doge is already running, the news gets to you, and then you start buying, you're not making as much money. You're buying on the green candles, you're buying on FOMO with all the other retail traders. The real money is made when you buy the bottoms. And we'll try and hit the bottoms. I don't know if we're going to catch the exact bottom. I got pretty close last cycle. Buying a lot of Doge at 5.7 cents. That was pretty close to the bottom. Where will the bottom be this cycle? Will it hit 6.7 cents? That's my target. We'll see. But I'm not going to wait for that particular price. I will be DCAing, dollar cost averaging in right around the beginning of each month during the summer, June, July, August. That's what I'm going to be doing. Aussie, good morning to you. How you doing? Don't forget to smash the likes, everybody. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I appreciate that. A few days ago, there was a SWI Hub X Money Dominoes meetup in Athens. A SWI Hub X Money Dominoes meetup. SWI is under $1. That's a good price for SWI. Again, I'm going to wait until the summer. Maybe SWI will even be lower then, because I would probably like to buy back into that and have some SWI in my portfolio. That's like the one outside of Bitcoin, Doge, Ethereum. Have some SWI again. I think I'm going to do that. Run it up for next bull market. Grinder, you discovered my channel as soon as the bear market began. We have a lot more fun in the green, in the bull market. We have a lot more fun here, but appreciate you being here. This is the tough times right now. We get it. Market sentiment is down. Viewership is down. Subs are down. Like everything's down. But like I said, eventually we start buying on those dips. And then when it runs again, cha-ching. Are we on a Modelo break till summertime? Yeah. I am. I'm here just peeping like Snoopy. Yeah, Snoopy's still over here. The Snoop is still over here. Guess I'll be entering Doge at 8 cents. I got to show Snoopy. Haven't shown Snoopy in a while. But yeah. The old Snoops. This dog has been with me for, I don't know, like 50 years. Like 50 years I've had this. This plush Snoopy I've had for 50 years. Still in excellent shape. I never tore it apart when I was a little kid. I never tore it apart. In great shape. The Snoops. So yeah, Snoop's still around. Hanging out over here. Yeah, in really good condition. Yep. I've taken great care of that. The other viewers who aren't here will come back when we are on a big pump and ask, should I buy? Exactly, Chuck. Yeah. Is now a good time to buy when it's already up like 100%? I'm like, dude, where were you? Where were you? If you believe in the coin or if you enjoy the gamble on Doge, then this is a massive opportunity. No point complaining. It's true. There are many who think crypto is like the tulips, where we're not going to see those big runs anymore. There are a lot of people who believe that. More and more of them are showing up. I just don't think Bitcoin is like going to just lose all of its value. I think there's too much support for it, and it's going to go back up. I don't think that Rex Osprey Doge ETF has 40,000 volume daily. I don't think so. So I have moved one of my sons out of the house, and Pax Cat went with him. So Pax Cat is no longer in the house. I hate to say that, but that is the big announcement. Yes, Pax Cat is no longer in the house. I know you guys have missed him, and I wish I would have had him on one last time and said the news then. But yeah, Pax Cat is with my son. And there's more changes, more moves going to go on. Coming up. Ramen noodles. Exactly. Save everything you can. Ramen noodles. We have Bitcoin and Dogecoin. The others are tokens. Most of the others. I mean, there's Litecoin, right? And there's Bitcoin Cash. Ethereum Classic. I guess Caspa counts as a coin, right? Something like that. It's a short list, though. I don't want to upset you, but crypto is still a new invention. And if you look at the charts of the gold-backed tokens versus traditional crypto, it doesn't become obvious where the money goes. The money is in gold-backed now because it's a bear market. But those gold-backed tokens have never done as well percentage-wise as crypto in a bull market. So right now, the focus is on those gold-backed tokens because they're doing better than traditional crypto. But we'll see what happens come fall. We'll see what happens. Hi, Duchess. How are you? I will go all in on crypto June through August. And that is your choice, Yeely. It's not because of what I'm doing. Just remember that. It's your choice. I'm not making you buy. Crypto is becoming like the stock market. Interesting outlook. I mean, obviously in a bear market, it's not moving as much, but when things go crazy again, they'll go crazy in crypto. Am I having empty nest syndrome? I will never have empty nest syndrome. I can't wait to get my other son out of the main house. I can't wait. Kriss is my personal financial advisor. Well, those are crying, I'm a buying. Pax Cat will have to come over for a sleepover. He doesn't really travel well. He got sick in the carrier on the way over, and it just he doesn't really travel well, unfortunately. Yeah, Campo, you're going to have to eat the shrimps yourself. I'm welcome to visit you in Helena. Join me panning the creeks, metal detecting in the hills. My brother lives in Boise, Idaho, so I'm familiar with the Northwest. I've just never been in Montana. Never made it. But Idaho, next state over, I've been to Boise. The vegetarian son is the one who's still here. But he's going to be on his own too pretty soon. So getting them both with full-time jobs and financially able to have their own places was a big target of mine. It was a big goal, and we're just about there. But Kriss told me to buy it 40 cents. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've already heard that. I've already heard that. Yeah, I won't have to worry about the dinner menu, whether I'm doing a vegetarian or a meat dish. I won't have to be making that choice anymore. Thank you. Thank you, Big. That the role of a father. It's actually never done, but this is a big step for them. Being on their own, it's a big step. And thanks to crypto, I'm able to help them get off to a good financial start. I mean, you can imagine yourself. I mean, some of you are probably 23, or some of you were just recently 23. But at 23 years old, having a condo you can live in where you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to pay a mortgage. All you have to pay are the HOA fees, the taxes, and then your utilities. That's it. I'd say that's pretty good. Getting off to a pretty good financial start yourself when you don't have to pay rent or a mortgage. So that was my contribution to them. And that's all thanks to crypto. That's all thanks to buying on a bear market and selling in a bull market. It's as simple as that. Now I want to do that again for all myself, because I've already got them. They're going to be set. So it's just going to be for me and Miss KrissPax. Me and Miss KrissPax are going to enjoy that. But yeah, I wanted to get them off to a good financial start when they were ready to be on their own. And so that is all happening now, which is a big thing. Yeah, I'm not buying a Ferrari or a Lambo. No. It was fun to talk about, right? The dream car, because people were asking me, Kriss, what's your dream car? So I could show the Ferrari. I can say, it's my dream car. I'm not going to buy it. I'm more practical than that. Much more practical than that. Yeah, the Pax Cat's with my son, Duchess. Pax Cat is not in the house. Yep. If you can set your kids up with a non-rent start, that's amazing. Yep. I don't think they really realize how big of a thing it is. I don't think they really realize it. Maybe someday they will, but yeah, that's the dream, right? Yeah. No, I don't worry about them. I really don't. I'll send some reminders. Make sure to pay your taxes, right? Got to pay your quarterly tax bill. But yeah. Hey, Yili, completely understand. I hit buy and sell button myself. I take responsibility. Let's see how it works out. It's going to be an exciting year. Yes, indeed. It's going to be an exciting year. This is why we love crypto. Nice to hear you're using gains for good. I just noticed I lost my green. That's okay, Duchess. It's all good. All good. Buy Dogecoin or not. Wooter, that is up to you. You make that decision of when you want to buy. Me, I'm paused. I'm waiting for two reasons. One, I still have to pay my taxes from last year. That's in April. So I don't have a huge chunk of cash sitting around. And two, I just think it's going to be lower this summer. Just the historical patterns show that, and I'm still trading on 4-year cycles. It's been very good to me, and I'm just going to continue following that. Will I get it right? I don't know, but that's what I'm doing. I bought some at 082 and set a stop at break even just in case we do go up. Hey, Wendy, that sounds like a great plan. 082 is a great price to buy. Personally, I don't use stops. I like to just make my buys and sells when I want to. Sometimes with stops, it can make a trade for you when if you had waited, you could have done better. So, Nick, yep, still renting at 40. Well, if we get this next cycle right, it'd be nice, right, to buy something, get into something, get out of that rental loop. Yeah, I think a relief rally is March, April. I think we're going to get a relief rally March, April. So that's what I'm targeting. Trideer with the Pats logo. Love it. No Lombardi or Dunks this year. Oh, well. Yeah. The Patriots had a great year. Going into the year, did anyone really think the Patriots were going to make the Super Bowl? Not really. I know they had the easy schedule and all that stuff, but they still made it through the playoffs and made it to the Super Bowl. I think that's better than anybody could have expected for the Patriots. So I'd say it's a good year and a great experience for a lot of their young players of what a Super Bowl looks like. So next time they'll be ready. Do I think Doge is going to go back to 40 cents? I haven't started looking at those projections yet for next bull market. And a lot of that is going to, again, be tied to, it's going to be tied to catalysts and what happens with Doge. Are we going to get, I mean, is Elon going to get more involved with Doge again? Is he going to incorporate it into some of his companies? I mean, that'll be huge. But yes, as Grinder says, no one has a crystal ball. You're working on some certifications that will get you better pay. That's a good plan. Good plan. Through the lows and the highs, I will still be here. Appreciate everything. Thank you. Thank you, Aussie. You remember Deflategate. Of all the things you remember, that stupid thing. So Duchess, you're not rebranding Duchess of Elements. I need to go back to that name. What I was going to do is on my second channel. Okay, cool. Hey, Anthony, how are you? You'll have to scroll back and hear all of my logic behind why Doge is down. Yeah, the Patriots had a good year. I didn't say anything about the Super Bowl. I know they played poorly. Seattle has a great defense, and it took them down. Yes, that is agreed. But you don't have to have all the laughing faces. That's not a good look. Don't rely on me to tell you how much of a relief rally when you're looking to sell and buy back low. Don't rely on me, Joseph. But earlier in this live stream, I showed my targets. How high I think a relief rally is going to be, when it's going to happen, and then when it's going to go lower. So you'll have to scroll back and look at that. But I did cover that. Still have the pinger. Oh, Bitcoin is going back down, taking out some of the new leverage trades. Happens every time, right? You come up, take out the longs, and then drop down, take out the shorts. This is ETH. ETH is below 2,000 again. Oh, yeah, the tuck roll, too. That was another Brady. Yep. That was another Brady thing that was like, was that the right call? I still believe it was a fumble. That was the Raiders. Right? I think it was the Raiders. I still think that was a fumble after all these years. Oh, well. I would say the refs have a tough job. Plays happen so fast. Calls are tough to make on a lot of those plays. They miss stuff. They overcall. I mean, it happens. So looking at crypto in general over the past months and knowing that crypto is going nowhere but downwards, what's the point in following crypto? It won't take 2 to 3 years more likely to bounce if you look at the 4-year cycles, which we did in detail on Monday. I did a whole live stream about 4-year cycles. So, yeah. But it's also, Anthony, it's also kind of nice just to get together and commiserate, in a bear market together, right? Instead of you just worrying all on your own about what's going to happen, let's get together and talk about it. That's what live streams are for. Let's get together and talk about it. That's what we're doing. You're just going to get on my nerve about the Patriots here, are you, These peanuts? Why? Why do you want to do that? Kind of dumb. 15, close, but not quite. My wife used to be in 4-year cycles. Now she hit menopause. And well, what the twins. I don't really. So why follow people who follow crypto? If you're gonna we're all here as a community here talking together. You don't have to be here. I wish more people were here, but I get it. I already said in a bear market. I called this in the bull market, and people were asking me in the bull market, hey, Kriss, are you going to still be live streaming in the bear market? And I said, yes, I will. And here I am. So Looks like he's a Philly fan. Surely there's more money to grab with the longs. Yes, there is. There is, but you got to zoom out a long way now. You got to zoom out a long way. Short term, there's some. And we showed that. We showed that on this guy's chart. This one right here. This is Ted Pillows, who showed this in a bar chart format. And he's showing all of this liquidation down here from 65 to 64, even down to 63. There's liquidity there to grab. All the way down to 60. Do we go all the way down to 60 again? In times of uncertainty, crypto is not the place to be. All right, so go find someone who does a gold live stream and go watch all of Peter Schiff's podcasts. You don't have to be here. I kind of like that you're here as a counterpoint. I'm glad you're part of this community as a counterpoint, but let's be real. Gold is doing well now, but everyone will come back to me when Doge starts pumping. Everyone will come back to me when Dogecoin starts pumping. And that's how it works. And I know this because I've been through this entire bear market before. But this is when you make money. You make money in a bear market because you're buying the dregs at the bottom, and you'll get much better gains in the next bull market if you're buying at the bottom of the bear as opposed to waiting until the bull's already started. For those who this is your first cycle, you've heard me tell my story of buying back in 2022 and the summer of 2023, and how when I was selling then in early 2025, my profits were anywhere from 5 to 10x, depending on the crypto, because I was buying at the bottom of the bear market. And so that's my plan again. Now, will it happen the same way? Maybe, maybe not. Most likely not. But that's what I'm doing. I'm buying the cycles. People couldn't or shouldn't. People shouldn't invest on crypto when there is no earnings or security. Hey, then go buy stocks. Go buy stocks then. You don't have to be here. Go get your 8 to 10% a year on stocks. Awesome. I wanted to change my financial position in life, and I wasn't going to do that buying stocks. I bought crypto, and I made a crap ton of money doing it. I can only say what I did, right? Well, Anthony, you can say the same about stocks too. You're guessing the bottom when you're buying stocks on a dip. Are you catching a falling knife? Maybe. There's risk. Crypto is certainly more risky than stocks or gold, or most stocks. There are some that are risky, like Zone. I'm never buying that Zone crap again because it's probably going to do a reverse split and it's going to go even lower, just like BitOrigin did. But I wasn't touching BitOrigin either. Do you want to change your position in life financially? Is it risky? Yes, there's no doubt that it's risky. But now I'm living with no mortgage, and I've got 2 of my sons' condos with no mortgage. I've done all right. I've done all right. Financially getting in a position that takes you up that notch where you get out of debt is a huge step. So, hey, I'm all good from here. I don't even have to invest again. I can just buy stocks and live out my life, and I'm a happy man. I just can't resist it. It's just like the opportunity is there. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, to go on big runs again. And I want part of my portfolio to be on that. So thank you, Grinda. Yeah, it's really amazing to me, Dave, why these protesters are so violent. And why are they protesting at these big events like the Olympics? And yeah, probably this summer at these World Cup locations, they're going to be out there protesting, and it's not going to be a peaceful protest. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Why? Duchess, it's a long story about PaxCat. I don't want to get into it. I'm just saying what I see and what I feel about crypto in the past months. This is a bear market, Anthony. Welcome to the bear market. You should know this. Your portfolio is falling in value because we're in a bear market. I told you guys this would happen. Last summer, I was telling you guys this was going to happen. And here we are now. Yes, your portfolio is going to go down if you're still holding into the next bear market. Yes, I said that. And here we are. Man, what did you think was going to happen? I mean, seriously. You should make it. You can't give your opinion, your biased opinion, unless you smash the like. Right. Hit the like button first and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Yes. I know. Exactly. Exactly, Aussie. We're going to be this big green God candle, and someone's going to ask, is now a good time to buy? I know it. It happens all the time. Yeah, Anthony should just buy the Vanguard 500 and call it a day. Yeah, I saw what happened. They got like 95% of it back because it was like paper Bitcoin. And I've told everyone, when you're buying on these exchanges, you're not really buying the crypto. You're buying paper. You're trading the price. Like on Robinhood, you're just trading the price. You're not actually buying crypto. And BitHum is the same thing. When you're just buying on the exchange, there's no actual transfer of coins from wallet to wallet. That's not happening. So when that mistake happened, that wasn't real Bitcoin that was getting sent out. There was no blockchain transfer going on. It was all paper. And that's what I've said. And you leave your so-called coins on an exchange, you don't actually own the coin. It's not your crypto. I made money from crypto, still very fond of Doge. Trading crypto has also been stressful. Holding gold crypto makes me feel much better, more secure. And that is great in a bear market. Absolutely, Twinsy. 100% with you. In a bear market, that's what you want to do. So it makes sense. But next fall, I don't want to be in gold. I want to be back in crypto. So will we ever see a bull market again, Annika? I believe so. I do believe so. I don't think Bitcoin's like going to bed. It's all this FUD out there about Bitcoin. There's too many people behind it. Right now, it's the market cycle. Sentiment is down. Like I said, the market makers and the exchanges are in control. They're able to take out the leverage traders. All of that. Yes, and a lot of those protesters are paid protesters. Yes. It's dumb. For them to get violent, the dips are the gifts. It's not BitHum. It's Bitsum or Beatsum. Beatsum. It's a Korean pronunciation, I guess. So Beatsum. I'll never call it Beatsum. I'll always call it BitHum. I just always will. But thanks for pointing it out. I'm just like, no. Oh. All right, gang. That's what we got. Again, Doge is just kind of still drifting downwards. We'll see on Friday, my next live stream. Are we still going to be in this downward pattern? Are we going to have a red Thursday? Like all of that is in play. So we will check that out on Friday. Until then, I hope everybody has a great rest of your Wednesday, as well as your Thursday, or at least for Aussie, your Thursday, because it's already Thursday for you. Anyway, we'll see you all next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.